Keith Raad comes down from Odyssey Mets Radio from the booth to help us preview this Mets Braves series. Travis Jankowski, fresh on the roster, going to give us his perspective on what's been going on with the team lately. And we play Mets Make a Deal. It's back, baby, on a sweltering Monday night here in Queens. If you can see my sweat, that's the beauty of filming in 4K. Welcome to In the Cage, the Mets official Citi Field Series preview show. I'm your host, Mike Janela. All that, and you get to watch the Mets take batting practice. It's all coming up after the leadoff spot, the one stat you need to know for this Mets-Braves rematch series, second time they're playing in less than a week. That stat is 760. Now look, the Mets obviously, have no bones about it, are going through it right now. 1-8 in their last 9 games. But that 760 number is their OPS here at home at Citi Field. That's still good for 4th in the National League. So if the bats have a chance to wake up, warmer weather usually helps veteran bats. We'll talk to Keith Raad about that in a little bit. Could be an opportunity for the Mets to really get right and get back on that course, that first place in the NL East type course they were plotting earlier in the season with 4 games against Atlanta here. All right, all that coming up, so go on and jump in the cage. Travis Jankowski back on the roster and right here in the cage, jumping into it. How you doing, man?
Great, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. You show up and look, no bones about it, the team going through a rough patch before you get here. What is someone like you that kind of just shows up and now tries to provide a spark, bring something new? How do you approach this? What do you hope to do when you come into a spot that maybe isn't the most favorable, but still a team that's got a lot of potential, a lot of talent?
Yeah, for me, it's just being who I am. I think that the type of player I am, the speed, the defensive replacement, whether it's going and diving after a ball, robbing a home run, stealing a base, getting an infield single, anything like that, it can provide a spark for a team that's, gone through it a little bit. And that being said, I don't think things are as bad as people are making it out to be here, right? We got a pretty good team, and I think anyone who thought that, any team in the major league isn't going to go through a little skid, I think you're just kind of naive in that sense, So I have full faith in this team that we're going to turn it around, and hopefully that can be that spark.
Yeah, talk to any fans in Denver or Pittsburgh right now. They'd, I'm sure, gladly trade places where the Mets are these days. We see sports movies all the time, and in stretches like this, there's guys flipping tables and the coaches are giving the big rah-rah speech. What's it really like? You show up in a clubhouse like this, what's really the vibe, the mentality of the guys top to bottom in there?
Yeah, well, the good teams, they know that we're going to go through this, right? You prepare for it mentally, and you act the same every single day, We're one, play away, we're one inning away, we're one home run away from creating a spark. So the teams that panic, the teams that start to press, the teams that try to do more are usually the teams that, have the extended slump and the extended tough stretch. So it's really trusting in your abilities and going out and playing.
All right, now I'm going to jump on some of your major league expertise for some questions about this Braves series coming up, because you weren't down there with them in Atlanta this past week. But when you do see a team this quickly, the rest of the offense, the guys that saw this Braves pitching staff just a week ago, is that advantage hitters, advantage pitchers? When you see someone that quickly again, how can we expect that to play out?
Yeah, I think it goes, it's a little favorable and unfavorable for both pitchers and hitters, right? If the pitcher did well, the cat and mouse game comes in, Is he going to pitch us the same way? Is he going to shift his focus on, throw more secondary pitches? Is he going to change location on us? And as a hitter, you have the advantage of seeing that guy recently. You know what his pitches are doing, what his shapes are doing, but everything changes on any given day. So as far as an advantage, I don't know if you can weigh it one way or another. We're going to have to go out and see.
What about this heat? You can probably see the sweat on both of us coming through the camera here. Is this advantage hitter, pitcher, veteran, younger guy when you're playing when the temps are maybe 90 degrees at first pitch? What does that do?
I would say it probably favors the hitters a little bit more because, as long as we're not on base for 30 minutes, that pitcher could be out on the mound for 30 minutes. He's laboring. Now we do have to go out and play defense, and he gets to cool off in the dugout for half an inning. But I think the longer we can keep the pitcher out on that mound, the better spot we'll be in. Keep him out in this sun, keep him out in this heat.
All right, well, may the temperatures rise, the bats rise, your time putting that pitcher on the mound rise, and may things turn around with whatever spark you're able to bring. Travis, appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Keith Raad from Odyssey Mets Radio joining us as always. You're properly dressed at least for this weather, so thanks for taking the time coming out of your nice air-conditioned booth down here in the field with us. How are you?
It's a scorcher, man, finally. It's been cold though in New York. This is good, we'll take it.
Yeah, you will. I will go to the cold all day because I'm just sweating now as you can see this, but we're not talking about us and our attire. We're talking about the Mets coming back home, and obviously things lately not the best. No need to sugarcoat it. They are going through it right now. Why? Is it bad luck? Is it better competition? Is it, hey, it's baseball and it's a long season? Why are the Mets struggling the way they are right now?
Yeah, they're just having a tough time pitching. Starting pitching, of course, Kodai Senga's injury doesn't help. Tyler McGill's injury doesn't help. And there's all of a sudden a shakeup. And what was such a rock-solid foundation for this team was not. I mean, that losing streak, they had an ERA close to 7. This is a team with the best ERA in the game. And their one thing that they're really good at, they weren't for a little while. So right now it's a matter of who is going to step up, and the depth of the Mets has been great stepping up until this stretch, so they're going to ask guys like Paul Blackburn going tonight, we're going to need more out of you here, and so that's basically what it's been, and now the pressure's on the offense to try to win some games here with some high runs, but they got to pitch better.
Now, the weather does tell us one thing. It's not September yet. It's not October yet. There is still a long way to go. This is not a football season where a little stretch like this can derail the whole campaign. So if you're a doomsdayer that says, oh, this whole season, we knew the other foot was going to drop, the bottom's falling out, or if you're the complete opposite, you know what, call me last week of the season, see where the Mets are. Where should fans be right now in terms of how they're viewing what they're going through?
Well, I don't blame fans for doing anything. I mean, fan is short for fanatic. I mean, it's a roller coaster for a reason. That's what makes it fun, the good and the bad. I mean, when the Mets hit 7 home runs in Philly on Saturday, it was just euphoric, right? What a night for the team, and then that down feeling of losing the series on Sunday. So as far as the fans are concerned, I'm with you. But as far as the guys in the clubhouse, the front office, they'll get to work. They're not panicking, they're not freaking out. That's what you want out of the team, but they certainly understand that the fans are allowed to.
Yeah. So the fans do what they do. The players now have to do what they do, and that is try and respond to what Atlanta did to them in Atlanta last week. What has to happen? What do they have to do differently to make sure that there is no repeat of what we saw down south as the Braves now come here for a 4-game stretch here?
Yeah, I mentioned the starting pitching was big for the Mets, but really in that Atlanta series, we saw Schwellenbach pitch okay, Strider pitch great, Chris Sale almost go complete game shutout against the Met offense. So now you have an immediate second time against these guys, and it's very difficult for a pitching staff to do what they did well against the lineup literally the next time out. So that should be helpful for the Met offense that was a little quiet in some of those games, but the Mets pitchers have also seen the Atlanta hitters. So I would say in this ballpark, hot weather, the ball should be flying. These hitters that in the cold weather have not seen a lot of success may get the temperatures that they've been craving. Juan Soto has the best OPS in the sport in the month of June. Like, as things have gotten hot, you hope the Mets offense does as well.
It helps veteran guys too. They seem to warm up when the temperatures do. Brandon Nimmo really on the record about that earlier this year. We could see that top to bottom throughout the lineup. All right, you have to go get back inside and get ready, but behind the booth, we love these behind the scenes stories you give us from Odyssey Mets Radio. What happened down at the road trip? You were calling some solo games, I heard, over the weekend.
Pat McCarthy and I are doing a bunch of road games this year, and yesterday in Philly, 5:30, 7 o'clock first pitch, 5:30, he looks at us and goes, my wife's going into labor. See you, boys.
Gotta go.
So if you wanted a dose of Keith Raad, you got maybe a little too much of it yesterday. I hosted the pregame show. I did all 9 solo and the postgame show, but it was hilarious as the Philly guys were coming in. ESPN was there, so Boog Shambi came in joking, hey, you're doing a Vince Scully tonight. So that's about as close as I'm going to ever get to Vince Scully.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But it was pretty fun, and congratulations to Pat and his wife Emily on the birth of their daughter Quinley.
Absolutely, congrats. Always nice to have new members of the Mets family coming in, even if it means leaving Keith high and dry for 9 innings. Hey, I did 2 years of minor league play-by-play back in 07, 08. It's only been about 2 decades, but call me next time you need anybody. I'll come hang out. Keith, I appreciate you. Enjoy the call. All right, wrap down here on the warning track, but we're gonna go play Mets Make a Deal. And for that, I need fans. So let's go see who showed up early for batting practice and go make a deal. Kevin now grew up in East New York, and I assume pretty good Mets fan. Is now going to try his luck at Mets Make a Deal. Questions get harder, but the prizes get better. Here's your first question. Who hit the 9th inning go-ahead 2-run homer in Game 161 last year in Atlanta to send the Mets to the playoffs? Was it Brandon Nimmo, Jose Iglesias, or Francisco Lindor?
Francisco Lindor.
My man, it's like he remembers like it was yesterday. So you're winning our first prize, which is this reversible Mrs. Met, Mr. Met headband. Good for a day like today, right? Keep the sweat out of your eyes.
Right,
not bad. Now, you have that, but our second prize up on offer is maybe not for today because it's very warm, but you're going to need this, later in the wintertime. Harry Potter house scarf. These were a huge item when we gave them out here last season. Ooh, Ravenclaw. That's the house I got sort of into.
Okay.
So what do you think? You want to try your luck?
Let's go for it.
All right, my man wants to potentially Mets make a deal. So to do this, you got to get this question right. Mets and Braves once played a 19-inning game. Memorable, iconic game on what national holiday? A, Memorial Day, B, 4th of July, or C, Labor Day?
B, July 4th.
July 4th, yeah, back in 1985. What a year, what a game, and what a start you're off to. So I'm going to trade you that. Headband is now back to us, but you have earned your Harry Potter scarf. So now I got to ask you, do you want to risk that to go for our third prize, which is, I think maybe worth it. A Doc Gooden moving arm bobblehead autographed by Doc Gooden.
Oh, wow, okay.
But the question's going to be a doozy.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
I don't know, man. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I think I'll go
You're
for
a
that.
bigger
I'll
Doc
go for
Gooden
that
fan?
one.
Okay, I like it. Then we're gonna yank that away. Thank you so much. All right, now you have to earn this. Yeah,
right.
You're already trying to grab it.
Ready.
Not yet, my friend. Who was the last player that the Mets acquired from the Braves via trade? Was it A, Kelly Johnson, B, Tom Glavine, or C, Jeff Francoeur? I told you this would be tough, yeah. It's not free agent. Who did the Mets get via trade last time they made a deal with Atlanta?
It would be Jeff Francoeur.
You think Jeff Francoeur? Back in 2009, they made the trade. Is that your final answer?
I think so, yes.
Well, my friend, you should have gone with A, Kelly Johnson. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, we have to say goodbye to Doc. I'm sorry. The moving arm is now moving away from you.
That's
Bye-bye.
all right.
You
I
waved
appreciate
it.
it.
Hey, man, we tried to do Mets make a deal. You tried your luck.
Yeah,
the deal was
appreciate
not made, but you still get to have a good time here at Citi Field.
I appreciate it.
And you get to be on Mets YouTube. Say hi to Mets
everybody.
Nation. Appreciate you, Kevin.
Thanks,
Thank you. Our thanks to Travis Jankowski, Keith Raad, our amazing Mets fans, always up for a good time at Mets Make a Deal. And most of all, thanks to you for joining us here in the cage. My name is Mike Janela. If you can make it out to Citi Field this week, please come on out, stay hydrated, but come have a good time. Should be a great series against the Braves. And if you can't, make sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at Mets. Thanks for joining us in the cage.